Hello everyone, this is Mahindra Meher, Department of Electrical Engineering, NIT Calicut. Welcome to this video. This video is all about an important but unwanted event that affects the daily lives of millions of people and economy of the country for long hours. This is about world's largest blackout happened ever in the history in the year of 2012. So I will be talking about what actually happened on those days. Before going to much details, that defines actually what is blackout. From the picture, you can see the power outage is happening one by one, and finally the blackout. So by definition, it refers to the total loss of power to an area, and it is the most severe sort of power outage in the power system. It is also important to know what causes a blackout in the power system. First one, power mismatch due to overloading. Next one is false lightning, winds and storms, earthquake, loss of synchronization, and due to poor maintenance. Due to these type of events, there is a significant difference in power between the generation and the loads. And according to Swing equation, whenever there is a power mismatch, the frequency of the system changes, which results tripping of the circuit breaker. Now to understand the whole system, let's discuss the structure of Indian power system. Indian power grid is divided into 5 regions. They are Northern region, Western region, Eastern region, Northern Eastern region, and Southern region. So we want to talk what was the case till 2012. These 4 grids combinedly known as NEW grid, which is North, East, and West region. These all are synchronously connected, means operated at the same frequency. This point is very important to remember. The southern region is connected asynchronously, means it is operating at different frequency. It is also important to know the policies that Indian power system was adopting at that time. UI, the on-schedule interchange mechanism. It improves the grid efficiency, grid discipline, the responsibility. And according to UI mechanism, every region have to submit a schedule that how much they will generate and how much they will going to consume. This mechanism also imposing charges on those who differ from their scheduled generation or drive. This is very important to understand each and every point in this video, so don't skip any part of the video. Now the point that I'm going to discuss is, this is the 5 regions and their generation, demand, and net export import are specified. And this was the case when the time was 2 a.m. on the date 30th July 2012. Now see how the power is flowing in this power grid. An amount of 1967 megawatt was flowing from WR to NR. From another line, 624 megawatt was flowing. From ER to NR, a 3095 megawatt was flowing. So the net input of the NR region was 5686 megawatt. Similarly, a 2650 megawatt was flowing from WR to ER. A 988 megawatt was flowing from WR to SR. So the net export of that region is 6229 megawatt. Similarly, from NER to ER, 53 megawatt was flowing, and another 1127 megawatt power ER region was drawing from Bhutan. The net export of ER region is 239, and the net export of any region was 53. Like that, 912 megawatt was flowing from ER to SR. So net import is 1962 megawatt of southern region. So this was the case, the scenario, the power flow scenario was there at that time. Now let's see actually what happens on that day. Due to late monsoon in July, hydro power plants generated less power. Due to intense heat, electricity consumption was at peak level. And farmers in the north region used electric pump for water irrigation. The pressure on the grid was high. The entire WRNR link was overburdened. So the first relay on 400 kV Bina Gwalior line tripped. And this line feeding to Agra Boreli transmission section also got tripped. Similarly, other previously overloaded grid caused cascaded tripping and turned to a blackout. This was the summary of the whole day. Now let's understand the whole thing so that we can feel that it was happening in live by time. On 12 o'clock at midnight, what was the case? Already WRNR link was overburdened. After 10 minutes, what happened? The fast 220 kV line of WRNR link breaks. So extra loading on the existing WRNR link increased. Now after 5 minutes, means 12:15, second 220 kV line breaks. So huge power transform across the critical line, that is the 400 kV line. Then around at 2:33 o'clock, the third 220 kV line breaks. So that further megawatt drops and the additional loading went to another line. Around after 11 seconds, the critical lines, that is Gwalior Agra critical line strips. In this way, all AC links between NR W are lost. So WR, ER, and NR links overloaded. After 2 seconds, another 400 kV Raulkela Jamshedpur line stripped due to overloading. After 2 seconds, further 5 400 kV ER NR lines shut down, and northern region isolated from the eastern region. Due to that, at 2:34 minutes, means after 45 seconds, NR grid goes extremely low frequency. We know when the frequency changes, the circuit breaker will definitely trip. So the northern region got blackout. This was the case on 30th July. The next day, another event happens, and around 12:50 the daytime, what happened? Excessive power drawn by the northern region from western region. Around 1 o'clock, 2 of the 3 operational WRNR links collapse. And after 10 seconds, 3 of the 220 kV lines collapse. In this way, around 1 minute, 38 connections broken within 1 minute. After 10 seconds, several high capacity generator trips in ER critical 400 kV WR ER links. And after 20 seconds, The northern region, northern eastern region, and eastern region isolated from the western region, and it goes under frequency condition. So after 5 seconds, sudden load rejection on WR generators cause over frequency around 51.4 Hz, and after 25 seconds, NR, NER, and ER had reached critical under frequency condition. So the northern eastern region and the eastern region blackout. This was the case on 31st July 2012. So overall, the summary was, this was the world's largest blackout in the history, and this was due to the cascading failure. I'll discuss in the further slide what is cascading failure actually. What happened? It happened as two separate events on 30th and 31st July of 2012, as we have seen already. It affected over 620 million people, which is 9% of world population and half of the India's population. It spread across 22 states in NR, ER, and NER. What was the major reason of this blackout? Let's see one by one. First one is the inter-regional power transmission link was weak at that time. Now it's all upgraded. Okay, overburden of the critical line. And another major reason was inadequate response by the state LDC, the load dispatch center. And the lack of proper monitoring in the wide area range. Due to that, the cascading failure happens, since the fourth region was interconnected system. And due to improper control action, finally the blackout happened. Now let's understand the flow chart, how the blackout actually happened. First, due to overloading, several outages happens. Due to that, due to improper control action, cascading failure happens. Due to cascading failure, the lack of synchronism happens, and finally the blackouts happens. Okay, let's see what is cascading failure. It is a process in an interconnected power system. This is important. It is in the case of interconnected power system, okay, in which the failure of one or more parts can start the failure of other parts. This is cascading failure. And this is common in power system. When one of the element fails, it transfer its own burden to the nearby element in the system. So the burden is increased. Okay. And monitoring the operation of a system in real time, the judicious disconnection of part can help to stop a cascade. Okay. But the next point is very important. Here you can see that the important point is the speed of control signal was no faster than the speed of propagating power overload. It means we have to send the control signal before the power system get overloaded, so that we can avoid this cascading failure. This was the point. And major power outage due to cascading failure, here the list are given. And I discussed blackout in northern India in 2012. Okay. Then how we can prevent this type of blackout? We need a fast, accurate, widely monitoring, controlling, the protecting smart technology we require to prevent this type of blackout. So here the concept of smart grid come to the picture. Then under the smart grid, a wide area monitoring, controlling, protecting system is required. Under this system, PMU, means phasor measurement unit. This is the basic block of this wide area monitoring, controlling, protecting system. And this is the guiding device towards the smart grid. The conventional grid is transforming to smart grid due to this smart technology, and one of the technologies is this PMU. A lot of research is going on this device. I will discuss more on this device in my future video. So let's connect with this channel. If you understand the whole video, please like and share the video, and please subscribe this video to get more update on latest technology of power system. This is very useful. Okay, thank you.